In the quiet town of Harrowfield, people loved to talk, but never about the strange painter who lived in the small cabin behind the abandoned church on Maple Lane. His name was Elias Vanter. He never came to town during the day, bought his groceries at dusk, and spoke to no one. And he only ever painted one thing: dead people. Not portraits of them while they were alive. Not respectful scenes of funerals. No, he painted the dead exactly as they looked moments after they passed. Faces pale, eyes half open, hands crooked, bodies twisted in their final terrible expressions. No one knew how he did it, and honestly, no one wanted to know. But his paintings were always unnervingly accurate, even when no one had found the body yet. At first, people just thought Elias had a strange, morbid obsession with tragedy. But then the accidents started. A fisherman drowned on the lake. A teenager was hit by a truck. An old woman was found cold in her rocking chair. And each time, Elias had completed their portrait hours before the death happened. Each painting showed the exact position, the exact expression, the exact wound. People grew afraid. They learned to fear the sight of him carrying a new blank canvas. Because if Elias Vanter began painting someone, that person didn't have long left to live. But Mara was 17, bored, and far too curious for her own good. While the whole town avoided Elias, she wanted answers. Why did he paint them? How did he know? Was it a curse? A gift? A warning? One late afternoon, she walked past the abandoned church and saw him. Elias was standing outside his cabin, just staring at an empty canvas. His eyes were hollow and sunken, as if he hadn't slept in years. Mara swallowed her fear. "Mr. Vanter?" she said softly. He didn't look at her. His voice came out cracked and low. "Go home." But Mara stepped closer. "Is it true you paint people before they die?" Elias's hand trembled around his paintbrush. "I don't choose who appears," he whispered. "They just come." He pointed a shaky finger at the blank canvas. "Sometimes I can feel the next one. Someone close. Someone I don't want to see." His fingers dug into the wood of the frame. "And when their face forms, I know I've failed again." "What do you mean, failed?" Mara asked, her stomach tightening. Elias finally turned to look at her, and his eyes. They were gray, but not a normal gray. It was a clouded, foggy gray, like someone had drowned all the light inside them. "When I see their face," he said, his voice barely audible, "it means I couldn't save them. You try to save them?" He nodded, a look of profound exhaustion on his face. "I see the death before it happens, but I'm always too late. Or the death changes shape. Fate always finds another way." He lifted a trembling hand to his temple. "The dead come to me. They whisper. They beg me to paint them, so they can rest." Mara shivered, a cold dread creeping up her spine. "Can you not refuse?" "The dead," he said grimly, "don't accept refusal." Before Mara could say another word, Elias's entire body went rigid. He stared, transfixed, at the blank canvas. The air around them seemed to shift, growing heavy and cold. His breath rattled in his chest, his fingers twitched, and his eyes widened, filling with a familiar, chilling dread. "No," he whispered. "Not her. Please, not her." He started backing away from the canvas as if it were on fire. Terrified, Mara stepped closer. "What do you see?" she asked, her voice shaking. Elias's voice broke as he looked from the canvas to her. I see you. Her heart stopped. Me? He nodded slowly, miserably. I see your face forming, your eyes half closed, your lips blue. And there's a shadow behind you. No, Mara shook her head violently. No, that can't be. Elias grabbed her by the shoulders, his grip desperate. You must leave town. Tonight. Now. Run. Fear, pure and primal, surged through her chest. What's going to happen to me? His expression twisted in helpless horror. I don't know, but I'll try to change it. Mara sprinted home. She threw some clothes in a bag, told her mother she was staying with a friend, and just left town. But the further she drove from Harrowfield, the stronger the dread became, a cold, heavy blanket settling over her, as if something invisible were following her every move. At midnight, she stopped at a small rundown motel. She locked the door, bolted the windows, and pulled the curtains shut, trying to block out the world. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. It read, I'm sorry. He's coming. Her blood ran cold. He? Who was he? Before she could even think to reply, the lights in the room flickered and died. She froze, listening. A shape moved outside the window, a dark silhouette with impossibly long arms and a hollow head, like a man carved from pure shadow. It pressed its hand to the glass. The imprint it left was not human. At that very moment, Elias Vanter was running through the woods behind his cabin, brush in hand, breathless and desperate, trying to outrun fate itself. He reached the old stone well behind the church, the place where the whispers of the dead were strongest. Show me. Elias gasped, staring down into the blackness. Show me how she dies. A cold wind rose from the well's depths. Whispers spiraled around him. A voice like cracking ice hissed, She is marked. The Shadow Man wants her. You cannot stop him. Elias screamed into the well. Tell me how to save her. And the voices answered as one. Paint another in her place. Elias staggered back, the horrifying truth crashing down on him. The dead didn't want to be painted to find rest. They wanted a replacement, a soul traded for a soul. Back in the motel room, Mara scrambled away from the window as the Shadow Man's long fingers brushed against the glass. The lights went out completely. Silence. And then a knock at the door. A soft, hesitant knock. Then a voice. Mara! It was Elias. She ran to the door and threw it open. He stood there, drenched in sweat, paint smeared on his hands, shaking uncontrollably. I found a way, he gasped. I can save you. How? She choked out. He was holding something behind his back. A canvas. Still wet, still dripping with fresh paint. Mara stepped back as he revealed it. On the canvas was a freshly painted portrait, but it wasn't of her. It was of Elias himself, dead, eyes half closed, skin pale, body twisted. And standing behind him in the painting, with a hand on his shoulder, was the Shadow Man. Elias smiled weakly, tears spilling down his cheeks. I traded places, he whispered. It will take me instead. And then the Shadow Man stepped through the doorway. Its hand passed right through Mara, as if she were made of smoke, and closed around Elias' throat. Elias didn't resist. He just whispered, his eyes locked on hers. You'll live, please. Live. The Shadow Man dragged him backward into the darkness. The motel lights flickered back on. Mara collapsed to the floor, sobbing. The canvas fell beside her. The painted Elias was gone. The paint had dried. The shadow man had claimed him. Mara returned to Harrowfield the next morning. The cabin was empty. The church was silent. Elias Vanter was never found. But his paintings were, all of them. Except one, the portrait he had painted of himself. It was never seen again. Some say the shadow man took it. Others believe Elias's soul is trapped inside it, forever bound to the canvas. Mara still dreams of him sometimes. A tired painter with sad gray eyes, standing at the edge of her bed, smiling a weary, protective smile, keeping the shadows away forever.